And you are live.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 17 January 2023 meeting of the Annapolis Transportation Board. We had a month off, had good holidays all around, I hope, and we are meeting here virtually. We'll get around to discuss whether we should continue to do that or not. But right now, having called the meeting to order, I ask Tara to note attendance, and I ask for motions to both approve the agenda, which was distributed to you, and the minutes that she prepared also. Could I have motions on both of those items?
So move.
Okay, Olivia, and a second from anyone?
Second.
Okay, thank you, David. I will propose that both of those items be considered and approved now, unless you want to break them apart.
Kurt, is
all the-
somebody taking notes?
Yes,
Okay.
Tara is. So the can we approve both of those? All in favor? All right. I see a majority. Both the agenda and the minutes are approved. There is no public participation that I'm aware of. We were to have a city council update from Karma O'Neill, but she had competing demands on her time. And so she has asked me to say a few things on her behalf. Whoops, here we go. Got too many windows open here. The first thing that she wanted to mention was that there was a meeting of the Annapolis Transportation Committee of the City Council, which considered, among other things, presentation by Bird Bikes and Scooters. It was a nice presentation, and they gave some data on actual experience. The use of those two vehicle types has continued to grow, and they are in discussions with the county for extending the routes outside the boundary of city limits so that some of the more popular destinations will finally be reachable, like Annapolis Town Center at Parole, for example. And that sounds like a good development. It's unclear to me how the numbers are working for costs and so forth, or even if we are serving a total expanding group of people who need transport. But I think I'll try to get that report from them and distribute it to you so that we can figure out for ourselves how things are going. But it was a nice presentation, and the scooters seem to be raising less ire among the populace as Bird gets control over where they are and when they are picked up and moved to central locations. There seems to be growing acceptance of these modes of transport, although there continue to be complaints of one kind or another. The second thing that she wanted to mention was that she had a meeting on the Ridgely Avenue sidewalk and bike path. Well, it's actually a sidewalk only right now. As she says, the next step is for the city to write a letter of support and put funds into the budget to help support the project. I thought this was to be a state-supported project only. A little upset personally to hear that it's going to take city funds. Yes, the road goes through the city, but no, it's a state road. And you would think they would take responsibility for sidewalks on state roads, but we will get to that. As we discussed in the last meeting, some of us feel it would be desirable for the project planners at least to plan, to consider incorporating a wider sidewalk, which would serve not only pedestrians but also bicycles, since that is a popular bicycle route, and it's presently quite dangerous. And then finally, she has been discussing crosswalks in the Admiral Heights region, and I guess will tell us more about that at some time in the future. So that was our input from her. She could not make the meeting and sent her regrets. The next item on the agenda is the Transportation Department, and I'm delighted that Marcus Moore is here to join us. What do you have to say, Marcus?
Yeah. Good evening and a happy new year to everyone. Hope all is well for the start of this new year. Yeah, at that same time of the ATC, we talked a little bit about the Magenta Shuttle, which has been renamed from the circulator that has been running in the city over the last several years. It's been aligned, the schedule that is, since the closure or the rebuild of Hillman Garage. So we did some comparative analysis from the May 2nd when this new marketed route began all the way through the end of December of last year, as opposed to 2021. It is being heavily used, and some of the questions were residents, visitors, employees who's actually using it. So I'm trying to peel back that onion a little bit more to see actually who is, but it's in some dates, it's over 60% more than what it was last year. And we've realigned the time, running 2 shuttles Monday through Friday during peak, which is between 6:30 and 10:30 a.m. and 3 and 6:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. 2 shuttles on Sunday morning between 8 and 1 p.m. So it does run every day. As you know, it's free. A lot of folks are taking it to the court. So a lot are getting on at Park Place. So that was our discussion there. I wanted to know a little bit more about it, as Kurt mentioned, along with the bird bike and scooters. But as far as the Department of Transportation is going right now, 2 electric buses have been approved by the City Council. An appeal has been issued to a company called BYD, just standing for Build Your Dream. We expect delivery of these 2 new fully electric buses in the late spring of 2024. We'll be having regular meetings with the design team and our fleet manager from the city and others to look at what we can get, what we'll do, and of course the infrastructure that's going to be very important at ADOT to charge these vehicles. As you know, in some of our garages and locations, we have a level 2 charger, which will take most vehicles that are electric. And the level 3 will be a little bit quicker for something that big. So there's a lot going on for that infrastructure that goes along with it that'll run concurrent as we're building these buses. An RFP is being prepared. It'll be on the street for a test pilot for the microtransit. We hope to get this request for purchase by late March, I would hope, and we can get something going in the summer of this year, 2023, for a while to see how microtransit can help feed into our mainstays of current fixed route transit. We secured 2 what they call gem carts. They're fully electric golf carts called E6, and that number just means 6-seaters. So it's basically a golf cart that you've seen, 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater is the biggest, but you can kind of outfit 2 more seats in the back facing backwards. So right now, inside of a enclosed cab, there are 6 seats, including the driver. These were purchased in December, and it's a part of our mobility plan. But it's been pretty much a soft launch. We haven't really put it out there, and more information on operations and schedule will be towards the end of this month. One of the challenges we have, there's two vehicles that we got, and depending on weight, and obviously topography, how long you can actually go on an electric cart, because a golf cart wasn't meant to go for 6 or 8 or 9 hours. The 18 holes of golf a lot of stop and go, 3 or 4 hours. So right now our schedule is within those 5 hours, but we have 2 in case we want to go a little longer to have a replacement. So we're doing a little bit with our marketing team, our PIO out of the mayor's office, to have some kind of markings there that shows going green and the electric of this cart. So more will be provided towards the end of this month, but basically it's tying in the garages downtown with the businesses around downtown, and we hope to expand to other areas. And remember, these are low speed, so there's not a lot of places that it can go. There's no more than 25 miles an hour, so it is a downtown, potentially Eastport, but around those areas. And that's what we have from the Department of Transportation for now to share with you, and of course more to follow as time moves.
Thank you, Marcus. That was very nice. You're doing all sorts of good stuff. May I ask a question? BYD, is that a Chinese firm?
Kwaku can probably answer a little bit closer. We're part of the contract for the U.S. They're actually built in Southern California. I want to stay around San Diego. I'm not sure their actual origin. It might be.
I think BYD is the largest Chinese manufacturer of electric vehicles, cars, but maybe they have a U.S. operation.
Oh, they might be, and they definitely do, because there's something going on in Atlanta area, and of course these are coming out of Southern California. But I think you're absolutely right. They are the largest.
Mike. All right, Kwaku here.
Yes, Kwaku?
Yeah, they have a manufacturing plant in Lancaster, California. And yes, they are probably the largest manufacturer of electric vehicles, from cars to trucks to buses. And this PO, actually, we are piggybacking on Washington state contracts. So we have to get permission for that. So BYD actually originally, and it is still a Chinese company, but they do have operations across the globe, and they do have one in, I believe, Lancaster, California. Mm-hmm. So I hope that answers your question.
Okay, thanks. And the other thing on the Magenta bus, John Purnell is not here tonight, and I'm sure he would have raised this point since he has several times before. As you pointed out, the court system is a heavy user of the Magenta bus, moving from Park Place down to the courts. And he has wondered aloud several times whether some arms might be twisted so that the court system itself would contribute to the operation of that fairly heavily used line. Have you discussed or considered that?
We have not. I have not. Some of the things that we are doing with being moving people around is the most effective and efficient way. It's still a good thought to talk to them about it. I'm not sure how the court system is handling other parking opportunities. I'm not sure if they're paying to park at Park Place or the Gotts, because coming along the way you have all 4 garages: Park Place, Knighton, Gotts, and of course the Whitmore garage, a stone's throw away. But we have not, ADOT, reached out to the court for financial help.
Okay. I'm sure John will raise that question again. Anyway, thanks so much for your contribution. I really appreciate it. And welcome again to your new job.
I have a question.
Yes,
please. Or 2.
Beth.
Okay. First of all, I thought that John had said that the courthouse has been suggesting that people park in Park Place. In the garage there. Maybe he had court duty or something. Somehow he's mentioned it a couple of times that they make that suggestion that people park there. So that would be a thing to use when you go and talk to them. But my question is, what do you use the little golf carts for? I mean, I've seen them around. And of course, we see the one that's the tourist one. But what do you use the little golf carts for? I don't remember you said. You just said you had them, but I don't
Yep.
remember you said what you used them for.
Yep. What we're trying to do is tie those garages in together with the businesses over the western part of Annapolis, like Maryland Avenue, State Circle, lower part of Maine, to get people the mobility plan and the go green, go electric. So if I can describe the schedule as it's been started, starting on Calvert Street, going towards the light at West. So we would turn left on West, go up West Street to Church Circle, halfway around the semicircle to School Street, and School hitting State Circle, halfway around State Circle to Maryland Avenue, make a left onto Prince George Street, a left onto College Avenue, a right onto St. John's. So we're tying in the Calvert Garage back to Calvert Street where the GOTS. It's about 1.2 miles. So those needing some help to get to a parking option of the GOTS, Whitmore. Well, Whitmore's, GOTS and Whitmore, Knighton's a little bit further away. And the Calvert Street Garage, just to get over to businesses to keep the city moving in a fresh way.
Oh, Marcus,
Yes.
this
So
is,
are you, can I just finish?
Sure.
So these, from what you said, the streets that you're doing are the streets that the circulator really is too big to go on. So you're using, my assumption is therefore you're using the smaller electric vehicles to reach, like you say, Maryland Avenue, go around, do South Street, go around the Church Circle, the State Circle rather, and all that, because the circulator doesn't go in those places and it's too big to go in some of them. So that's your reasoning, just kind of, you've got two things going on. You've got the circulator and you've got the little electric, and they're doing different parts.
Right. With a mobility plan, just trying to move things, people around a little bit more effectively and efficiently. The circulator did once upon a time, but as you guys know, with this Department of Legislative Services building, that's probably 2 years. It was coming down at the same time the garage. Then we're working on the dome, which they kind of pulled all the scaffolding out today to get ready for some big event tomorrow, I think is happening.
Yes, just a little bit.
Just a little bit. And we had another pretty big event yesterday on Bladen. So with all these things tied in together, movement has been a little bit of a challenge because the circulator did go on State Circle. If any of us would want to think about, parallel parking on a straight street, I think we talked about it before, parallel parking on a curved street, you can be behind them with, 5 turns to try to line yourself up. So that bus kind of was off schedule quite a bit. And believe it or not, it didn't get used a lot then, but it was running when the garages were open. So we want to just kind of keep, let them know Annapolis is open for business, and we want to keep things moving as best we can.
Marcus, I
Very
think
good.
a wonderful
that's good.
arrangement. This is Carol. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And I know that area not only for the transportation and visitor and services considerations, but I use it personally. And I used to ride the shuttle, the circulator when it went into that area. So I see the usefulness of what you're doing with that. I have 2 questions, I guess. One is, how are you going to advertise it? Because who will know? It's a minor feature of the local accessibility arrangements. And I didn't even know about it until now. And I would use it actively because a destination for me is often to the corner of Maryland and King George. And many people would use that system to get into the shops on Maryland Avenue. So I see what you're facilitating with the arrangement, but I applaud you for putting it into place, but to make it workable and used is probably a challenge, but it's one that I
Yeah,
applaud.
Carol, this is really good questions. It's a 3-season vehicle, because one of the things, everything being battery operated, it's very, very nice vehicle with a panoramic view. And it does have doors, so our maintenance techs were given a task that how can we get HVAC on there without taking away the battery power? So we're, because I got to remember about the driver too, being on there for 5 hours. So we found a battery powered heater to go for the feet, but it's not all that great. So the 3-season right now that started out in the hardest time is, we really don't want to be out there with snow or ice or under 35 degrees. So that's why we haven't really advertised it much, but the change of time in like March all the way through the end of October. And then of course, when we have the Midnight Madness, we'll try to do our best as we can. It's not running every day right now. It's just Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we, being slow moving, we had an unfortunate accident when it happened on Friday. Somebody being a little too aggressive bumped into the back of us at 4 o'clock. It was still light out on a Friday. So we have things that we have, challenges to get through. But as the daylight hours go longer and we're able to deal with the HVAC issues that we're working on, because the summertime will be the heat. Right now, it should be fine from like April to October. So us getting it in December was like the soft launch. So our PIO, Mitchell Stevenson, who's pretty good with these kind of things, we're getting outfitted with marketing stuff on the outside, but also we'll do a splash. I think there were some things on social media. I'm not sure if our Facebook or Twitter or whatever else, but it showed us using it the first day we tried it, which was like the 17th, 18th of December.
I think the business owners would be helpful to you as well. I mean, the Maryland Avenue business owners would.
Oh yeah, we brought it. We took them,
and they would hopefully do what they could to promote it.
oh yeah, we definitely will promote it. We've taken them for some rides, and in fact, our mayor wanted to do the first 3 hours on that day, and he did. And we picked up folks, and it like I said, it's just a soft launch right now. We're ready to pull the trigger soon, but remembering that we'll try to get more and more days in. But right now, it's just testing it out. Like I said, it can hold 6 people. The battery power, they said, best is like, 4.5, 5 hours, the reason why we have 2. So to go out there for 3 or 4 hours is not a great thing, but having 2 of them, we want to get out there 5.5 to 7 hours.
And I don't want to be too conceptual about this because Kurt usually shoots me down when I get too conceptual, but I know how efficient the existing bus system is in terms of the major streets. But it does not and has difficulty going into a significant area, which is a historic area, the business area in the historic district behind the the Capitol building and all of Ward 1. And the visitors want that, the sites there want that, the restaurants and businesses want that. And it's a logistical challenge because the streets are narrow. You tried it with a big bus, you brought the circulator in there. So this is an admirable second effort and I applaud it.
Thank you. We're going to keep on trying to, grow it and see how many days a week we can go. We'll keep pushing it along.
Good.
I have
Final question, if I could, Marcus,
Kurt, I
what
have
are
a
the-
question.
I'm sorry. Oh, Elvia.
Yeah, thank you. So a couple of things, Marcus, going back to the BYD buses, how big are those buses?
They're like 28 to 30 feet. They're larger buses. We can get some specs for you later. It's not, our cutaways to let you know is like 25 feet. Our largest transit bus is like 29 to 31 feet.
Okay. No,
So it'll be
I
like
know
a
what those look
23
like.
seater.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I also want to say that the GEM cars are super. I'm so glad you're doing that. I would say though, to the marketing team that they market them as the fun ride. People love them. They get in these things and they just smile. you
They
know?
do.
So,
It is, yeah.
I wish I was on that marketing committee.
Thank you.
I think that's it. I just wanted those two points.
Thank you.
Great, thanks,
Oh,
Elvia.
no, I did have another question. What is the micro transit that you were talking about? The second thing that you mentioned after the buses?
Yeah, microtransit is a kind of concept, conceptual idea to kind of bring people into the mainstays of where it wouldn't make sense to have a regular fixed route. For example, all the way down Spa Road, all the way down Bay Ridge Road, but being able to bring them into transfer points to kind of keep the connectivity. So microtransit, or you'll hear demand response. It's almost like a, not a watered down, I don't like using those kind of words, but words that would be like a Uber or Lyft to feed into a transit hub to keep things going with not just the city, with the county. But that's what a microtransit, you'll make a kind of a reservation as you would do with complimentary ADA.
Okay, thanks. And you know,
Elvia, example is what VIA is doing right now.
What, who is doing?
VIA,
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. That's a microtransit.
Yeah. You know, this is funny because it's come full circle. I don't know if you were here then, Marcus and Kwaku, but years ago, the man who brought the GEM buses into Annapolis to begin with, he had a business called E-Cruisers, and it was almost like a mini Uber. You know, you would call on them and they would come get you, and everybody loved it. And
Mark-
and to tell you the truth, the city never really supported it. So-
Marcus, do you have money?
No.
Do you have money for this initiative? I mean, this is pretty customized. This is pretty
This
specialized.
is a pilot that will be funded through grants to try this out. So it's a pilot program for Kwaku. Is it about a year? Kwaku, you still
Again?
there?
Yeah,
The pilot?
for VIA or for
No, for
our
our
pilot.
pilot.
Our
they want-
pilot, it depends upon the cost. When you try to, if you recall, we tried to work with VIA, they were very high. So we are going to advertise it, and then based upon the cost, we can run it for about 12 to 24 months. I did check with Transloc at that time. It was part of Ford Mobility. Because of that, they were very reasonable, but you couldn't just give out the contract to them. If you get a similar cost, we can run it for about 18 to 24 months as a pilot.
Yeah, expanding on that, what is the source of funds to support the micro mobility components of the transit system? Are they grants, federal grants?
Now, go ahead.
But
Alderwoman Ellie, actually, I think 2 years ago, did submit a resolution to council. Remember when we were thinking of 90 days of free service? So basically that fund is available to use as a microtransit.
But I'm asking, where did the money come from? Is it?
It comes from the city.
Oh, so it is city funds.
Yeah.
There's no federal grant or state grant to support this?
No,
And what's the dollar amount roughly?
$90,000 as I recall, based upon
see.
the approved resolution.
Okay, well, thanks.
I'm sorry, you're saying microtransit is not going to be grant funded, it's going to be funded through the city budget? Kwaku,
The
could you
pilot one that
restate
you are
that?
talking about is going to be funded with the city money.
the pilot.
Yeah.
Well, that shows how much initiative there is in the Department of Transportation, the Annapolis City, Department of Transportation. I applaud that as well. Without going into too much detail, I've been watching carefully the interaction between the city and the county on expanding transit service. And I grow more and more impressed with how much the city is doing to contribute to that initiative. I know the county has the resources and presumably the direction to do that, but I think the real achievements are being accomplished by the city. And so if they put money into it, it's even more a testimony to how much the city is committed to it.
Okay, well, thanks, folks.
Kurt,
Yes,
oh, she's gone. Taylor Waters, is that her name? From
Yes.
St. John's? I thought she'd had her hand up earlier. And then I noticed she doesn't, and now her picture is gone, so she's muted her video.
Okay, well, if she comes back, we'll take care of it. For the
Okay.
moment, though, let's move on. The next item is mine. It's the annual report, which is finished, but I did not get it around to you, and so I propose that we just postpone it. I will send it around. It's basically a digest of all of the minutes that were created for you by Tara. And so I will send that around. It's something of a pro forma report that all of the boards and commissions are obliged by ordinance to submit to the city. And I have finished it, but I have to dot a few T's and I's, and then I will send it around to you. Is there anything you would particularly like to see that gets into the report that I may not have included?
Taylor has her hand up again.
Taylor?
Hi, Beth. Thank you. No, I had an anecdote about the bird, the
Oh,
bird
good.
company.
Okay.
Yeah, I can wait and share it at the end of the
Oh,
meeting.
flap your
No,
wings.
no.
Okay, I'm flapping. So this is just from the students at St. John's. And I looked it up and the prices range greatly. But they say it's really too expensive for them to use, on a regular basis. So just to let you know, at least feedback from college students.
Yeah, I've heard that same response.
I
a number
have
of
too.
times.
I've heard it's really expensive, although it's really funny. I got to tell you this. The guy across the street from me takes this bird scooter every day downtown in the morning, apparently gets coffee or whatever, brings it back. It sits in front of his house. They've given up picking it up because every day he takes it downtown and every day he brings it back. So they just leave it there in front of his house because he uses it every day. And I think to myself, first of all, the walk would do him good. Secondly, I don't know. It just amazes me. He must just love doing it. That's all you can figure. It must be fun for him,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, the bird, I've heard the opinion expressed by many that it's expensive. Now, there are a couple of discounted rates, and I'm not quite sure how it works. Marcus, can you explain how the discounted rates work? I didn't see anything on the website. Who is eligible and how does one obtain the discount?
Yeah, that I would have to research as well. I played around with them when they were first put out there in the middle of May. I know that our mayor uses it a lot, but it's coming out of our planning and zoning. They're the kind of
Old
you know, the
times and
manager-
dare not forgotten.
So Eric may be
Eric
able to tell us about
Listinsky.
it.
Sent me the snap.
Yeah, he was a part of the presentation
Yeah.
last week with Bird
I think he drew it.
representative.
Okay, good.
Pretty sure he must have drawn it. I didn't draw it. That's not my.
David DeQuincio, is you're lighting up there? No. All right, so that's the annual report, and I will send it around. I apologize for not finishing it quite on time. So this is the thing. The next thing is our organizational meeting. The first meeting of the year under our ordinance is we have a business item, which is election of chair, vice chair, and secretary. Not something that I've given a great deal of thought to. But I think we should discuss how we're going to proceed. And those are 3 slots that we have to fill. Tara has done exceptional service, and I really am so grateful to her for stepping up to a job that nobody wants. But,
Are we sure? I'm willing to vacate.
right.
It's your chance. It's your
Uh,
chance, everyone.
Yes, well, there's
Thrill of a
we-
lifetime.
yeah, if I would understand your stepping away from it, but I would, well, we'll see how it goes. At any rate, so let's go to nominations for, And is there anyone who would like to express an interest in any of these three slots for the coming year? Because they're all open. I hear a lot of silence. I wish John Purnell were here because he's not bashful about offering comments. But Beth shared a private inclination on her part. Tara, I've not talked to you. I guess I am willing to continue if that is the pleasure of the group. But let's just start in the order of, say, secretary first and go to vice chair and then chair. Are there nominations for secretary and or anyone willing to serve for the next year?
I nominate Tara Ashmore. She's been doing a great job.
I second it, of course.
It's fine, really, but I'm willing to vacate if anyone wants it. It's fine. We can rotate, but I'm more than happy to do it again.
That's wonderful. Any other
by
nominations
default.
or volunteers? Hearing nothing, shall we vote? All in favor of Tara Ashmore to continue as secretary, please raise your hand. And I do so with great gratitude.
I think
All right, the majority has it. Then the vice chair, Beth has indicated that she is less enthusiastic for the coming year than she has been in the past. And so I would solicit, am I correct on that, Beth?
Yes.
All right. So I solicit expressions of interest and nominations at this point.
I nominate John Purnell. He's going to love it. He's going to wish he was here.
Yeah. Well, John has also shared with me that he's essentially moving to Florida to work under a contract starting in a couple of months.
Oh, really? Not permanently?
Not
moving?
permanently, no, but for enough time that he's seriously concerned about his ability to devote time to this task.
Except we can Zoom.
But we may thrust an obligation on him. He has no opportunity to refuse, right?
I
An offer he
know.
can't refuse.
Is, David, are you interested in becoming involved at the upper echelons at this point in a board activity? Because I would recommend David DeQuincio.
No, it's not something I can take on at this time, but I appreciate the thought.
Thank you.
What does the vice chair actually do?
Well,
Nothing.
well, Beth has certainly worked very productively as a part of subcommittee and has stood ready to step in for me on several occasions when I couldn't chair meetings. Fortunately, unfortunately, that did not happen. I thought I was going to be away twice, and at the last minute, it didn't happen. But
I think fortunate for me and probably for the group that you continued.
oh,
You
you would have
showed
been
up.
fine. You would have been fine. But so what shall we do? Anybody who's willing to step up to this? We hate to. We cannot oblige people to do it.
I'll whatever, volunteer for vice chair, Kurt.
All right, Vince.
No, Tom. It was Tom.
No, Tom Shaw.
I'm sorry.
Tom Shaw.
Doing my best Vince impersonation.
Okay, you lit up
Yeah.
this time. For some
Yeah.
reason,
That was a close
it did
one.
not light up here. Tom, that's wonderful. Thank you. All right. I shall consider his name in nomination. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Terrific, thanks. And the last is the chair. I'm willing to continue, but I'm also willing to yield if anyone is really enthusiastic about taking this on.
something tells me, since we had such trouble with the vice chair, I doubt that anybody's stepping up to the chair. And I think it's going to be years.
Well,
I nominate Kurt as chair.
Second,
okay, all those in favor, say
I
aye with a hand. Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are
Thank you for your service, the three of you. I appreciate it.
indeed.
hey, in that voting, could I just clarify, did we have any dissenting votes, or was it really not just majorities, but unanimous? For the record.
think it was unanimous. Does
No
anybody?
dissents?
Okay, thanks. So there were no dissenting votes, right?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Thank you. Thank you for the clarification.
All right. The next item is an item of new business that came up, and that is whether we are to continue as virtual only, whether we are to meet in person, or whether we should attempt. I think a hybrid is kind of impossible. I've looked into this several times, and so I think it's a binary decision of all or nothing. I'm totally on the fence on this. I like the convenience of the virtual meeting. I dislike the impersonal air that it has, and I think there's some virtue in getting together. Taylor, you had your hand
Yeah.
up?
I personally much prefer to be on Zoom. You know, I'm here in my slippers and I got my cat running around. The truth is, though, I think it is compelling what Carol said. I mean, some people, there may be a person out there who doesn't have access to a computer and maybe relies really heavily on public transportation and is curious about what's going on. So I wouldn't want to be set up so that someone like that couldn't join us.
Okay, thank you. Other discussion? Well,
My other thing is, the other comment I would make is that you can watch us on live on YouTube. And anybody can watch us live on YouTube. So it is an open meeting, and they can make any kind of comment. Now, granted, it'll be after, but I'm not even sure at our regular meetings, people can attend. But if I remember right, I'm trying to think back to when I ran the parking commission. I thought that they could only attend and observe a regular meeting. They couldn't comment, they couldn't talk, they couldn't do anything else. The only time they could is in a hearing, as you suggested before, that there was hearings, as my husband suggested, and that's when people make comments and whatever. So
well, I have a technical question that rises out of your comment, and that is whether, yes, we are on YouTube, but I did not realize it is live. Is it not only posted after the fact?
No, sir, you're broadcasting live right now.
You're live.
on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
He says you are live every time we come on.
Thank you, Mark.
So
I was not aware of that.
My assumption was we always are.
I'm not among
what we say.
I'm not among the least sophisticated of computer users, but I'm among the lesser. But I discovered YouTube this year. I mean, I don't know how much of the public is really turned into YouTube.
Well, there's been a lot of education out there.
So a lot.
Yeah.
A lot, and it's announced all over the place. It's on the website.
Right. In certain sections, certain segments of the population.
And it works on cell phones too, so it's pretty
And I'm
good.
talking about the people who ride buses.
Mhm.
And those, well, if those people don't have iPhones, and if they don't have computers, the likelihood of them walking and coming into our meeting is not high.
Oh, that's not true. That's not true at all.
When in our meetings have there been observers?
People who are protesting the poor service on the transit system.
We've had some, but I mean, it's minor, and
It is not minor. It has not been minor. I mean, we are excluding I mean, obviously, I'm making a stance on this and I'm willing to be
You can.
confronted about it, but we are excluding the public by not being more open in our public forum.
A
Were we-
suggestion floated some
Question?
time back was that we alternate between virtual and in-person meetings. I just float that as an option for you to consider.
When we
Also-
had the
I would think
in-person
that's more
meetings, how
confusing.
challenging was it to get a quorum?
A quorum is not an issue. The public is the issue.
Well, the quorum is an issue because you can't make any pass anything without a quorum. So a quorum
You
is
can't
an
do
issue.
anything without
Otherwise,
the public.
Yeah, you can't do anything without a quorum, Carol, come on. And I mean, why it would just be a group of people talking if we're not able to actually enact anything.
What's wrong with that?
Well,
That's not what we're here
other
for.
boards and commissions meet in person, and they do establish a quorum even when they meet in person. So I see both sides of the argument as powerful and convincing. But may I ask for a motion for either in person or virtual or hybrid, and we'll try to get to a decision. Any more discussion before we do that, though?
Yeah, I just have a suggestion, especially given the parking and the construction and the garage and all that. If we chose to meet in person, could we reserve a room at the West Street Library? It would be a lot easier to get in and out of.
That's a good suggestion. I have heard that competition for that space is fierce, but I don't know from firsthand experience.
But how are you going to get it onto YouTube? If we're at the library?
You wouldn't. I
Yeah,
don't
and that's what we do.
Mark Hildebrand are you able to support YouTube at a physical look? I'm sorry.
Actually, no. If you meet in person, there will not be a recording made on YouTube, and there will not be live streaming.
Yeah, I think
So-
that's the situation.
But just to be clarified, it doesn't matter where we meet in person. There will not be a YouTube and there will not be live, correct?
That's correct. If you met in the city council chambers where we have cameras mounted on the wall, that has been brought up in the past. However, the determination has been if that's done for one board or commission, it has to be done for all of them. And that does require additional staff time to staff the TV studio and make those types of meetings possible. So as it stands
So there's-
now,
Well, now some of the commissions do meet in the chambers and have the full thing. They're both live and in person, right?
no.
Is the planning commission in that
The
situation?
planning commission did it in the case of some public hearings. And that always requires a determination by the city manager as to whether or not that can be funded.
Mhm.
The TV studio is staffed and administered by a nonprofit organization, and we are contractual, so that our time involves money billed to the city. So that's a fiscal decision.
Okay, thanks. Well, it sounds as though we have to go either one or the other or alternate. So may I have a proposal? May I have a motion?
I move that we continue with remote.
Is there a second?
I second.
All
I
right.
second.
Any further discussion? All right, let's move to a vote on whether we shall continue virtually. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
4 or 5. I count
Six,
5
I
votes
think.
there.
One, two,
6.
three.
I
4,
will
5, 6.
abstain. And Carol, is yours an abstention or a
It's
nay?
a no.
All those opposed, there's 1 no and 1 abstention.
We need
Okay,
9.
I'm sorry, 9?
So 6 yays, 2 noes, 1 abstention.
No,
Yeah.
1 no.
2
I thought
noes.
Taylor was a no.
Oh, Nail
Yep.
is no. Oh, I
Okay.
didn't see her hand. Okay.
So we've got a majority. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for the vote. We will continue in this this charming personal venue that we are populating at the moment. Next thing is there any new business? Well, we'll why don't we do that as we go around the table? And following the list on the agenda, I try to jumble these from meeting to mini so that the order gets changed. Tom Schock, you are first as we go around the table.
Don't have any new business. Thank you.
John Giannetti's not here. Dave DeQuinzio.
Nothing new from me.
All right. Carol Kelly.
Something I alluded to earlier that I direct to Marcus and to Kwaku. I took a long distance ride on the county bus system to Baltimore, well, to Cromwell recently, and then back, and was impressed by how efficient the system operated with the Annapolis end of it, the Annapolis bus end of it, not the county end of it. And it only reinforced my sense that the city is handling this integration of the county and the city routes very well. I don't know necessarily better than the county, but certainly in terms of my interaction with it, better because I'm more comfortable with the city route and the city people. So congratulations on how you are participating in that long extension of county and city access to far distant places like Cromwell and Baltimore.
Carol, did you get on at Church Circle or Rao Boulevard? Weren't you?
I went to the mall actually because I'm a big proponent of the emerging transit hub at the mall, and that that is happening. It's happening on a small scale with people like me, but you should take pride in the fact that the seed is sown.
Okay, so you took the County Gold, not the MTA 70 bus.
Yes, right. And in the county, I mean, I don't mean to be critical to a minute extent, but the county is a little uncertain of what they're doing. And understandably so. It's a long stretch, it's a long distance to traverse, and it's only been done by the state in the past. And now the county is trying to do it, and I admire them for trying it, but it doesn't work too well yet, but it works. So thank you.
Since you mentioned the 70, could I interject with one thing, Marcus? Is there any way that we can raise some hope that a bus service somehow can get to the Baltimore airport? It's impossible to reach essentially for people who live in Annapolis. And it's just crazy to me that there is no public transport to the airport.
Well, but Kurt, there is public transit. I mean,
well, there is, but there are
the
two
route we're
changes.
talking about right now requires a change at Cromwell.
Yes,
to BWI.
it's very time consuming.
It's very complicated, but it's underway. It has happened.
Yeah, that is true. And Kwaku would have been around at the time. I forgot what it was called, something blue, but we did do from Annapolis to Cromwell to the airport. I don't know how well it was ridden or the ridership, but that was Kwaku, maybe 2010 or 2012. Do you remember?
I believe it was 2011. Actually, it was a JAG route, job access and reverse commute.
Reverse commute.
And normally that grant is for 2 years. So after the 2 years, the city decided to continue with that. So in 2010, 2011, I believe, I forget the name of the mayor at that time, they thought that it is for the rich people who are going to fly to the airport, and they're using it at a subsidized rate. So the administration at that time made a decision to basically terminate the service. We can take a look at it in efforts to update the transit development plan sometime later this year into next year. And then we will determine the feasibility of it in terms of cost and ridership, and you can make recommendations.
Yeah, that does seem important. It seems madness that we have no convenient connection to the airport. I realize it's possible to get there, but it's very time consuming.
Well, and in practical terms, by making this workable, even if it is, as you're recognizing, Kurt, difficult, they are laying the groundwork for what will be the planning stage of this transit hub. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, understandably, this is only going to work when a large number of people participate in the system. But if what the Annapolis Department of Transportation is doing to lay the groundwork for these systems, these routes.
Well, there's one state bus running there now, and it does seem like a state level problem. We now have a governor, I think, who is markedly more friendly to these kinds of suggestions
Right.
than in the past, and I think we should take advantage of that.
Good.
All right, Vince, you follow Carol?
I did want to mention, once again, we talked about, I mentioned it a couple months ago, and I apologize, I missed the last meeting in November. I was out of town. The getting bus service between the various schools and the Boys and Girls Clubs downtown, because I know there's a great need there.
Thank
So
you.
it's just a long-term goal of mine is to get the city to expand more service after school.
Good. Thanks so much. Tara?
Nothing.
Thanks. Elvia? You're muted.
Darn it. There are over 68,000 electric vehicles on the road in Maryland now. As of a few weeks ago. Just wanna
Great.
tell you that.
Yeah, I see more and more of them.
Yes, so there are hybrids, and that number includes hybrids and full electric. And I also wanted to tell you that this will be my last meeting as a member of this board, but I'm very interested in what you all are doing. I just can't commit, you know, to making every single meeting, but I'll make as many as I can as a member of the public.
Great. Thanks so much for what you have done for us, and I'm very sorry to see you go, but I know you're involved in something with the city that we want to hear about when it gels.
So Tom Schock, you're now the EV guy on the committee.
And I want to report that you have a minor success. I've yielded to your pressures and I have ordered an EV. It's on its way.
So you'll have to have it on display at our next EV show, which will be on Earth Day.
What did you get?
I got a Tesla Model Y, and I don't know when it will be delivered.
He got the lottery.
When Elon dropped the price by $20,000 overnight, and that was enough.
It made a lot of recent buyers very unhappy.
Yes, yeah, the recent buyers are very unhappy, but there's a whole raft of new buyers that took advantage of that price drop. John Purnell is not here. Taylor?
Nothing new, thanks.
Okay. Beth?
Nothing new for me.
And I have nothing. This is your last chance before we entertain a motion to adjourn. Thanks so much for your work throughout the year, and I'm looking forward to progress during the coming year.
Thank you to Marcus and Kwaku for overtime.
Thanks for having us.
You bet.
And to Mark also.
Yep.
All those in favor of adjournment? Thank you.